Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest today. She's back. Ann Tisdell, our resident artist, and she does mixed mediums. Welcome back, Ann.
Well, thank you for having me back.
She has the most beautiful paintings. Wait to see. If you're new to any of the shows that she has been with us, Ann, you hail from, where are you incoming?
Webster.
She's from Webster. And
but I grew up in Swampscott.
She grew up in Swampscott. Is that on the South Shore?
No, the North Shore.
Okay, the North Shore.
North of Boston.
It's near water, right?
Oh, it's
Okay,
on the ocean.
I got that right. You have got, before we go any further, Ann, where are your exhibits at this point?
Oh, this is quite a litany. I have paintings at the 122 Diner in Holden. That's a restaurant that's open for breakfast and lunch. There is the Gale Free Library in Holden, Massachusetts. I have 4 paintings up there along with the Holden Senior Center artists. I have an exhibit at the Pearl Crawford Library in Dudley, Massachusetts, called the Palette Pals, and I've got on exhibit roughly about 16 or 17 paintings with 2 of my friends, Jean Brunter and Diana Comer, and they have their own things up there as well, plus 2 paintings at the Book Lovers Gourmet, and that exhibit will be ending the 28th, as is the exhibit at the Pearl Crawford Library. Actually, the last full day is Monday. The exhibit at Gale Free Library in Holden is up until March 15th, and the exhibit that is also Holden Senior Center artists at the 122 Grill remains up until March 2nd.
You're not busy enough. You gotta get this girl out more. How far ahead do you plan? You got every month secured?
The only month that I have off right now is April.
You got to keep it off, or anybody else can get you in, right?
Right.
She does the most exciting artwork, because when you paint, you do it like from real life, what you've seen, and then she does fantasy, which is kind of fun. Like you might see in a pediatric op. I've talked with her about this. Boy, those would be perfect. You see the parents saying, "How much is that one, Doc? Can I borrow? Could I buy that one?" I've been through that. Show us what you've got today.
Well, the title of my exhibit at the Book Lovers Gourmet that starts on March 1st through the end of the month is Transitions, Winter to Spring. So I have winter pictures that I've done, as well as things that reflect spring.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it. You do mainly, it's both acrylic and watercolor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Acrylic, watercolor, and pastels.
Have we seen this one before?
So this is a painting that I did of a sunrise that I saw after a snowstorm had just stopped, and had gone all night, and the snow was absolutely pristine and perfect, and it was like glittery little diamonds.
Yeah.
And the sun was just coming up, and it was coloring the trees with an orange hue. So this was across the street, diagonally across the street from my house. And I shot some pictures, and I found some pictures that I liked, and this is what I came up with.
Now, is that acrylic or is... Yeah,
this is acrylic.
That's acrylic. The detail. You've got that one just right with the sun's coming up in the morning.
It was beautiful. Beautiful.
And it's right across from your house.
Right.
How lucky is this lady? Beautiful, Ann. Absolutely. Oh, she's got another one coming. Drum roll. Oh, no, that's not an otter. This little guy is
This is an endangered black-footed ferret. This is not something that is seen in this part of the United States. There are ferrets, but not black-footed ferrets. And they are in the Dakotas, in the Midwest. And These animals are endangered because they got a virus. So what the Defenders for Wildlife organization is doing is they are capturing the ferrets from their burrows, and they're anesthetizing them and checking their weight and their length and their general state of health, and then they're immunizing them against this virus that is in prairie dogs. Now, prairie dogs and black-footed ferrets have a very interesting symbiotic relationship. One survives because of the other. And so the ferrets survive because of the prairie dogs. But the prairie dogs transmitted this virus to the ferrets. So the population decreased dramatically, and because of their work with immunizing these animals against the virus that is carried by prairie dogs, these animals are now starting to improve in their numbers.
When I first saw it, I thought it was an otter. So didn't I think it was an otter?
You thought it was an otter. They are all part of similar lineage as far as like weasels and otters. Their body form is very similar.
Is this from memory, Anne, or is this a picture?
No, I saw a series of pictures, and I chose the snow pictures. So this is in a snowscape, and the ferret actually looks like it has a mask on, but it also has some snow stuck to the fur.
There are two signatures. Who is this? It looks like two signatures?
There's me, my signature, but then I have on the painting, endangered black-footed ferret. So the people, when they see it, understand that it is an endangered animal.
I love it. You know, I don't know. I got a thing for otters, sea lions, seals, everybody. I live there.
Well, these aren't marine. They're on the prairies.
No, they're on the land. There's another one.
Let's see. I think those are the only snow-related scenes. So, so we'll move to spring.
Yeah. Here come the swans, no?
And many animals have their babies in the spring.
Yeah.
So this is based on a family of swans and cygnets that I followed in the spring of 2018, and I followed them from about May through December. And I followed them all the way from the nesting point to when the birds finally fledged. And you can see the parents here with 5 little cygnets.
Where was this, Anne? What town did you find?
Barrington, Rhode Island.
Have you ever been up near Meadow Pond in Whitensville?
I've been by there,
There's
yes.
a lot of swans there.
Yes.
Why, I don't know.
Migratory patterns, because I've seen as many as 500 swans down in Rhode Island when I've gone there, and it's because it's part of their flight path as far as to where they're going, and it's a seaside community, so they were able to get the food that they need and so forth.
We had 2 here in Upton at the town beach. We thought, oh, finally, because it scares the geese away. The geese don't like swans. They just disappeared. We had them for a little while, and they're gone. I don't know why our pond is different from that pond.
I don't know, but it has to do with rights, breeding rights, and everything else. So, I mean, you usually don't see more than 1 pair per pond, per body of water.
That's all we had was just the 2.
And they exist, by the way, by salt water as well.
They do that too?
Yes.
I didn't know they like salt water.
This is salt water. This is in the bay in Rhode Island. I bike on the bike trail that runs between East Providence and Bristol.
Yeah.
So there's a bay there, and this is where the body of water is.
And there are 5 babies.
Yeah.
Do they usually have 5 or more?
It varies. They lay their clutch of eggs, but understand that there's predation. So there are people that will observe that they start off with 5, and this pair actually went down to 3, and it was because predators had gotten their babies.
Wow.
Things like snapping turtles and
I heard that swans,
raccoons.
they mate for life. Is that true?
That is true.
Okay.
That is true of geese and swans.
How about that? No divorce with that bunch.
Well, it's not typical.
Yeah.
It's not typical.
Well, here comes one of my. I love owls. Look at
And
that.
this is a great horned owl.
Yeah.
And this is a mama with her 2 owlets. And I loved the facial expression on this owl because it was like, don't mess with my babies.
Don't even go there.
Don't even go near.
How old are the owlets, do you think?
The owlets are probably about,
They're so
I'm going to say they're probably about 3 months old because they've still got a lot of fluffy
the
down.
little fluff. Do you ever watch that show, Northwood's Law? Up in New
Oh,
Hampshire?
sure.
Oh, yeah, the forest rangers and wardens deal with these animals a lot. You know,
They do.
Yeah, they really did have. I like that white frame. That's beautiful. That white frame right there.
This one?
Yeah, what is that?
All right, I will pull that one out.
Ooh.
This is actually a bouquet that I got as a gift. And it is Japanese irises with tulips.
Where'd
And
you get it?
I got it from my husband's daughter.
Oh,
And she sent them to me. And oddly enough, purple is my favorite color. And she
Yeah.
knew that. So
yep.
So she sent me irises, which are a flower that I really like, and the tulips. And so I looked at it, and it looked so pretty. I said, oh, I ought to paint that.
I like the way you put like a soft pink with the purple background.
Right.
That really brings it up. Now the yellow in the center, what is that?
Those are the tulips. They were yellow tulips.
There were tulips in there too.
Yes. They weren't fully open.
Okay, they were just budding. They were just buds.
Right.
Has she seen? She's seen the picture, right?
Oh, yes.
She must have been like, wow. And that is, what paint is that?
This is a watercolor.
That's a watercolor. Okay. They look so real.
Moving
here comes
right
another-
along.
Oh, here comes another one.
This is a great blue heron.
Oh, I think you can hold it up a little bit. There you go. There you go.
And I shot this, the photo that's the basis of this watercolor, in my neighborhood. This is actually primarily watercolor, but I also did some details in the sandy beach with colored pencils.
That's colored pencil, and you mixed them together.
Yes.
What is the top part behind the heron? The greenery? Did you do that with pencil too?
No.
No.
That's watercolor.
Huh. I like the way that you put the land right behind it,
Right.
and then blended it in with that dark, like wood or a tree,
Yes.
a log, and then you have the reflection.
Yes.
Is that hard to do, reflections?
They can be. They can be tough because sometimes you don't get the positioning of the bird just right. So it can be tricky. Plus, you don't want the reflection to be more important than the actual bird.
Exactly. No, that bird stands out. I like it. It's the blue.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Where was this guy, girl?
In Webster.
That was in Webster.
Yeah.
We've seen him in, I think, Whitensville. I don't know where he goes, but
Webster Lake.
Yeah.
I see the same ones most of the time, and we see a lot of mallard ducks.
whoa, surprise! You never know what's coming. Is that on the Cape?
No, this is actually a salt marsh in Wells Beach, Maine.
Ooh.
And this was, again, a transitional time going from winter to spring. So there was this soul boat that I saw out there, and I said, that looks like a painting.
An old rowboat. That is good. That's watercolor, right?
Yes, this is watercolor.
I love the way you blend it. You get it. It's not overly done. It's subtly done to the. And then you have the way the sky blends in with the other part and the water.
Well, it was a misty morning,
Yeah.
so the background is muted because there was fog.
Yeah,
So
watercolor. Did you stand there and with an easel and do it, or did you take a picture and do it?
no, I took a picture because when you have conditions like fog, the lighting changes too rapidly. This is in the same general area that heron was that I just showed you.
Mom and Dad with
And
four
this is a pair of mallard ducks with their ducklings. Again, you see a lot of these out on the lakes and the streams. You can see mallard ducks out in salt water as well, because I see them down in on the bike trail.
Yeah.
So they congregate together. The thing that I think is amazing about the ducklings is they move so rapidly to follow the parents, and it's almost like a swarming kind of movement.
Yeah.
They just move really, really quickly, and they've got such tiny little legs
Looks
when
like
they're
there are
so
four
little.
babies. This is four? Yeah. 4 babies.
One,
Mommy's the one who isn't the pretty
three,
one.
4. No, there's 5.
The daddy, this is odd in the animal world, especially the birds. It's the daddy one that stands out, and the mama just blends in.
Oh, but understand,
Yeah.
there's a very good reason for that.
Yeah.
The mom is the one that's going to be reproducing and producing the eggs. So they're not as flamboyant because they camouflage into the marsh
To be protected, yeah.
and more protected with her babies, whereas the male would be more of a target because of the green head that they have.
Do they mate for life, ducks?
I believe they do. I believe they do. I thought about it. A lot of the waterfowl seem to do that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You must get to the point where you want to name these guys every time you see them.
Actually, the family of cygnets and swans that I followed, I named them.
We're talking with Ann Tisdell, and she is an artist, and she deals with mixed mediums. Ann, when you get a chance, let everybody know how they can reach you.
You can reach me at my email. My name is Ann with an E, Tisdell, and it's atisdell@gmail.com.
And you're willing to give an exhibit anywhere in New England? Hear that?
Anywhere in New England might be a little bit of a stretch because I have so many things that I'm doing locally. It would depend
Yeah, it would depend.
on the
You
circumstances.
might consider lower New Hampshire or part of Connecticut, on the side of Connecticut, that type of thing.
Yes.
There's quite so many places that this would be welcome. We've talked about it. Lawyers' offices, pediatric. Really, I'm serious.
I know you are.
I know, I really am. There's one she brought last time. Was it the balloons?
It
And
was the
this
hot air balloons.
Yeah, there's this funky-looking, froggy-looking thing on it. I said, that is fantastic. I love that. And that was just from your imagination, in a way.
No, it wasn't. It was actually a hot air balloon that I had seen when I
But
was
the
in
frog-
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
So
Yes.
it was a balloon, the creepy crawler guy there?
Yes.
Oh, my God. I'd like
Yes.
to ride in that.
All of them are balloons that I depicted in the 2 paintings that you've seen of hot air balloons.
Oh, I love that one. What you got?
Okay.
Oh, what is that?
This is an iris.
Yeah.
And it's an iris that is white with kind of a very pale lavender highlight. And it's a bearded type of iris because this yellow area is bearded.
Is it
Has-
pencil?
No, this is not pencil. This is all watercolor.
That is absolutely beautiful. Where did you find that one?
In my garden.
In your garden?
It's an iris that I planted.
Then you have a huge garden, right? You must have a lot of good stuff in that garden.
I have daylilies. It's a variety of things because I
Anything?
like color.
Any tomatoes or things like that?
Oh, we've planted tomatoes. Yep.
Oh, there's nothing like a tomato you get from some guy. You eat it like an apple, and it's like. So now was that? When did you paint that? Last year, or when did you paint that one?
That was in 2020.
2020.
I did that in the pandemic.
Well, with all your exhibits, do you have many left at home in your studio during that time?
Right now, I don't have as many as I ordinarily do,
Yeah.
but I'm still painting and creating all the time.
And you belong to that really great group. Is it in Holden?
Yes.
What is it called again?
The Holden Senior Center, the Senior Center Painters.
The Painters. And you just was it your idea to start that?
Oh, no, it wasn't.
No.
They were in existence already. And we have as few as 4 or 5 and as many as 15. The attendance varies.
Some are beginners, some are...
Oh, everybody's at a different level.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The same thing with watercolor at the Rutland Senior Center. The artist there is Charlie Gray, and he's a very accomplished artist, has done a lot of work in a lot of places, in a lot of magazines. His primary medium is watercolor.
And what would you suggest to people starting out and they want to start doing it, but they don't know, well, how would I get it out there? How will I be a success?
I think a lot depends on what the purpose is for doing the painting. If it's for self-expression or just freeing yourself up to see what you can create, it doesn't really matter about getting yourself out there. But if you start doing exhibits, you want to get yourself out there so that people can see what your work is.
Do you actually contact the people and say, gee, this is what I do, and send them an email, your website showing them what you do?
Sometimes I will do that,
Yep.
but I generally try to meet in person with
Meet
people.
in person. Just walk in or
Yeah.
make an appointment?
I try to make an appointment if that's feasible, but if let's say I'm in the neighborhood of someplace that isn't close by to me, then I might just pop in and find out whether they do any exhibits.
So you're exhibiting at a senior center
Yeah.
and libraries, and where else?
We don't actually do any exhibits at the senior centers because they've got multiple activities going on, so not generally. But it's mostly been libraries, some restaurants, and then Book Lovers Gourmet
Oh, yeah.
bookstore.
That's a fantastic place. We talked about it many times up in
Right.
Webster. Deb Horan, shout out to you that it's the coziest little place.
It's a wonderful place. They have lots of different groupings available, things like poetry groupings, people that write poetry. They have like an open mic. They have a writing group. So they've got other activities there just aside from what they have for books.
When did
and
you
they
get
have
in-
concerts.
They have concerts there too?
Oh, sure.
I didn't know that. Where do they put them though?
In the cafe area, and then
Okay.
they have chairs.
We walked in there the other day and someone said, hi, Jan. I looked over, there was a group of people, must have been a poet group or something, because I've seen him on the show before. So, I didn't know they did concerts there too.
Oh, yeah. They did one on February 11th in the evening there. And that was Rayanne and Mark. They're a husband-wife duo that does folk-type music.
Webster Library is a really big library. Have you been in there?
Yes, I have. The only problem is all of their area is glass.
Okay.
So it's not suitable for hanging any paintings of any size.
For people who don't know Anne, you haven't tuned in before, you started your interest in artwork when?
I was a young child when I started being interested in art. And I always dabbled. But I never took any. I took maybe a few lessons when I was young. And then I eventually grew up and went to school, went to college, and became a nurse. And that takes up a lot of your time in
Yes.
terms of all of your creative energy and all of your focus, because it's very important to do the right things and to be exacting, which is why I tend to be an exacting type of painter as far as what I
were you
depict.
nurse at, Anne? Where were you? Where did you work?
Oh, I've been all over the state.
UMass?
No, I've never worked at UMass.
Because they do have exhibits. I was in one time over at the medical school. Huge area. And I was wondering if you've ever approached, well, maybe the last few hospitals you worked at, if they have usually in the halls, they will display, I know they do at UMass, the different artwork. Could be staff person, could be anyone. Wouldn't that be cool? One of their own.
Well, no, I never worked there.
No, but I mean, one of the places that you were work, that would be good. What a great idea that would be.
Oh, one of the hospitals I started at, my very first job, that got torn down.
Oh, well, that's not good. How about one that's still standing that you worked at?
Well, remember, I'm a retired board-certified women's health care nurse practitioner,
Yeah.
so I worked in the ambulatory care setting.
Okay, well, that's really good. And one more time, how can they get a hold of you?
You can contact me at my email, Tisdell, TISDELL @gmail.com.
And she is very busy exhibiting. She's got April free. that's the full one. And then after that, you're booked right into the fall?
I'm booked in May
Yeah.
at the Pearl Douglas Library in Dudley.
Mm-hmm.
And then it looks as if there really isn't anything coming up for the summer yet.
Yeah. Do you ever go to the fairs?
No, I haven't done that.
Yeah. I'm thinking that can go either way, you know. A fair can go either way. It's like either you really make a hit, or it's maybe hit or miss. You might sell one thing. I know I've been in them before. It could be a lot of money for a table, you know. Unless you could find somebody to share it with. Maybe somebody who has a different kind of artwork, so it won't compete with yours whatsoever. Or, books, that type of thing. There are a lot of it. Have you been to Tatnook Bookseller over in Westboro?
I haven't been to Tatnook Bookseller since they moved out of Worcester.
They have a huge room dedicated. You can have your art exhibited. You can have an opening night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's right up the street in Westboro.
That's what I should mention, is at the Book Lovers Gourmet, the exhibit is for the month of March. The hours, they're closed Sunday and Monday. They're open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Wednesdays they're open until 6 p.m. So there is a Meet the Artist reception that is on Saturday, March 11th, and that is from 1 to 3 in the afternoon.
You look forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that must be a lot of fun. How many times do people come up to you and say, wow, I love your work?
Quite often.
That's always good. We're going to have to wrap it up, but she'll be back. She'll have more things to show us, I'm sure, maybe over the summer or something like that, and she'll let us know what's coming up. Ann Tisdell, thanks again for being with us.
Okay,
A
thank
woman
you
of
for
many
having me.
different mixed media talents. Next time, maybe bring the balloon picture. I love that so much. I want that in my room. We'll see you next time and be my guest.
Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream. Tomorrow's even closer than it seems.